So it has come true that Rolfo is fully upgraded. Could this be the best SBC that we've had? For the price, at about 6 to 700,000, she has now performed to that 93 in 3 games. Honestly, and underrated is unbelievable that she can play centre mid. She's a 4-star, 5-star, trickster and pinged pass. She can obviously play the left back role as well. She can even play left wing, but I'm interested in the centre mid. In terms of what we can see in stat-wise, it's arguably one of the most impressive. To be fair, when she first came out in just a gold 87, she already had the potential to be absolutely insane. But when you look over at Footbin, the stats are unbelievable. Literally the lowest without no chem style added. So for instance, in fact, if we had the basic, so this is just the generic chem style that everybody would have to start with, the lowest rating you could get is a 93 centre back. Granted, maybe not the position you want to go for, but a 96 centre mid, people are going to go with the shadow, as I could imagine, which raises her up to a 97 left back, 95 left mid, 94 centre mid, even a 94 striker. She is probably one of the best distributed stats you could literally find. She's got all the upgrades, she's got some decent playstyles, whipped pass, first touch, technical, quick step and relentless. Trickster is probably the only one that I'm like, okay, we can kind of deal with it. The pinged pass is nice, but them stats are well worth it. I didn't think she would get the full upgrade just purely on the basis that she was technically injured, but it so happened that the luck fell and she came back and they dominated. So let's have a look and see what we all missed out on if we didn't complete it. Right, let's find her in the middle. Just in general, from when I've used her as just a 92, even to be honest at the base rating that she did have, she was already unbelievable. So the 93 most definitely is going to be the full on top, the icing on the cake. And it depends on where you want to put it, to be honest. What on earth is James doing there? I don't know if my camera angle's changed as well, but in terms of kind of how she is, how she plays, she just genuinely is very good at everything. And it's kind of not an understatement for her, because stat-wise, she should be. It depends on obviously who you're going to go with and kind of which position you go for, because if you've already got a absolute top left back, or vice versa with the midfield, if you've got a Hullet already in there, if you've got your top people in them positions, the best thing about her is she can float everywhere. She can literally go in any position you want. Granted, actual positions is left wing, left back, or left mid, or centre mid. So it depends on where you want her, and then you can change in game. Because other than probably striker and centre back, she could literally play in every other position and be competent in that position as well. That's the kind of beauty of her. She is perfect to drop in everywhere. And even then, say you've got no room for it, which I can imagine a lot of people still do, but I could understand that people might have one of the best teams in the game. She could be the best super sub on your roster 100% of the time. The pinged pass is going to be perfect for driving balls into your wing, getting balls into the striker to feet. She's got that kind of down to a T. Virgil needed to capitalize on that one though. But even if you're going for the centre mid, I think she definitely directs the midfield really well. Maybe yes, if you're looking at my kind of two, I've got Putellas and her in the midfield at the moment. Maybe you do want someone with a little bit more strength. That is most definitely fair to say. Eto going for something. But then if you went for the left back, she's perfect there. She beats Bakker in my opinion, and I think Bakker was again one of the better SBCs we've had of the year, especially in that left back role. And I'm talking more cost for what you're actually paying for, because anybody can go and complete a 2 million coin Roberto Carlos. That is just, it's easy play, but trying to find them gems where you don't have to spend millions doesn't come very often. And I must admit, I was thinking at the start of Rolfo, could she be a little bit too expensive? And most definitely now we've got the full upgrade, I don't think she was expensive enough.
Played into the box, and that one goes out and away. Jared Bowen. Well, that was not where the pass.
Looking at the tackle, dominate, double ball, a little bit, trying a bit too fluky here, but she's absolutely back already. The rest of the defense is going to come in nice, one across, Look for that second touch and ping. And there we go. It's straight off at the race. Eto's over the top. Back one to an Mbappe. Touch and shoot. Oh, imagine. Lovely turn. Oh, and again, straight through. There's the ball. Oh, it's a perfect pass. Eto's just going to ball roll past him. Game over. Now the question is there any bad points in the card? Because we can all sit here and say, oh my god, she's got 90 across everything. She's literally the perfect card. And arguably, would you choose a Team of the Year Bellingham over her? Would you choose a Team of the Year's Putellas? There's always going to be cards, and it's different reasons. And I think if I was to go and be brutal in every sort of position, I think left back is definitely the more favoured position with the least amount of kind of negatives as such, or at least the better version of the card. And I think that's quite an easy one, because I do think in terms of left back, she has everything you need. A 5-star weak foot, skill moves at 4 is more than enough. It's not as if, oh, that's a great little turn. Is this going to be Team of the Year Bellingham? Oh, okay, 88. I've not seen him in a while. But when it comes to the left back, like I said, in terms of that position, she has everything you need. Bar from maybe a defensive playstyle plus, which, to be honest, is probably going to be the only weakness in a left back, is not having any slide tackle plus, anticipate, intercept, anything that is defending orientated. When it comes to centre mid, I would say really the main weakness for her is going to be that physicalness. That's literally the only thing that I'd say, okay, I could do with someone with a better pass than Garincha, but I could do with someone with a bit more physicality in them as well, depending on what sort of centre mid I like. Do I like the Hullet-esque type, or do I like somebody like a Matthias? They are different in their own right, so it isn't necessarily that they're a perfect card. They've always got some sort of flaws. I think the big thing for someone like a Rolfo is there's very few. That's the best bit about it. The pinged pass definitely has its own weight, used in the right manner. You can't just go ahead and ping to everybody, because it isn't going to work like that. But using that agility, the balance that she does have, she's able to create a lot of space just by having the ball and not having to keep passing it to her. But that is kind of the perk that she does have, most definitely. It's just that simple one straight out of her feet, and that's where the physicalness then disappears, because we don't need it if she's not going to hold on to the ball that crazy amount. The defensive style, I think the the standing tackling most definitely is very good. Tackling wise, she's a very good tackler of the ball, and that's where the kind of left back orientatedness really comes into it, because you're looking at somebody who naturally is a left back, but then playing her in centre mid, she's bound to have higher defending than most in that scenario, which is always perfect as well. And that's where then having the extra amount of stats, like she already had so many decent stats even just on a base card, you knew full well if she was going to get an upgrade, that most definitely would upgrade everything else as well. And that's a lucky goal.
They'll take it, of course, whoever gets the end credit. Sonia Bonpastor.
Big challenge. She just drives the ball. It may not even be that she necessarily tackles them, but she does outweigh them into getting the ball back as well. But I think in terms of that, that's pretty much the only two things I would really kind of bring her up on. Like, free kick accuracy isn't the greatest. God, Mbappe. That's fine. Composure at 89. Again, maybe yes, later on in the game, that might not be the kind of the best stat that you could have. But right now, 89 is more than suffice to keep you going in this game. I feel like there's a lot of players with sub 89 composure, let alone not having the stats that she does possess as well, which is absolutely perfect in itself. And that's when you go into kind of every stat individually and you realize how clearly statted this card is. The amount of 99s, 91s, anywhere in between, there is a solid amount. And I'd be arguing to say there's probably not many other cards at that same level, let alone maybe a little bit higher, that probably don't have the in-games that she does. The only person who I can kind of think of would be somebody like Matthias, because he is very much the same. He is very overall statted, so that Unfortunately for her, because Matthias is absolutely outstanding in himself, is the person that she's going to be compared to, and that's just it. Like, there's nothing she can do about that. With the amount of stats, it's literally the only card I could say she's very similar to him in stat orientatedness. And I can confirm she has now got, well, she hasn't just now. I've just changed it. I've just thought, you know what, we'll change it whilst we're here. She has 13 more stats overall than Matthias. Doesn't mean that necessarily somebody could have literally 99 everything. It doesn't mean the card itself is absolutely insane, but it definitely holds her at a higher weight, which you can imagine there's a reason why every card isn't statted that way, and most definitely in-game as well, she definitely puts up the fight. But that is an incredible achievement when Matthias is arguably one of the better what on earth is going on there? One of the better centre mids in the game. I just think this SBC was a gift waiting to happen, and even though to start with we didn't know if she would get the full upgrade, if she'd even play, to be honest, let alone scoring 2 in the 2 matches that she did start the matches as well, it's just next level. And the arguments that the clean sheet that she had, it literally, she got subbed off in the 61st minute. If she got subbed off 2 minutes earlier, it wouldn't have counted. Granted, she probably would have got it in the next game, but it's just crazy that everything aligned for this card perfectly. And I don't know if any other card, maybe 1 or 2, I don't know if Politano eventually got there, or if the German left or right wing got there as well, but got the full upgrade also. And I think that definitely helped the card, because when we look at the card in itself on the very start, I would say that she definitely was worth the coins, even on the base rate, but most definitely if she got even just a double upgrade, which was very likely. We could see Barca women winning too. They are top of the league for a reason, let alone then scoring like 7 in their first match, but the 11 goals seem likely as well, especially with how dominant they have been this year. It just seems that they were 2 necessary upgrades. So even just getting the +2, I feel like everybody was already happy settling with that. To then say that she got the other 2 as well, the 3 appearances and getting the clean sheet, I think that is what's made this card now just even better value. Pushing forward. The pace on her as well is absolutely brilliant. Without no Playstyle Plus with pace, it's just brilliant to see. It's like good ball, not quite where I was going for, but we can definitely move with that. We've managed to win it back into Coleman's feet. So I do think when it comes to is she worth it, was the price completely right? I have no qualms with that whatsoever. I think everything was absolutely done for a reason. Like I said, the only thing I'd probably add more to it is probably just changing 1 Playstyle Plus from Trickster, just because even in a centre mid, maybe you could argue if you was going to put her on the wing. I don't know if I'd put her in my favoured position personally, but I do think that would be the only thing I'd change. And really, that's really picking at straws there. Oh, that's a stunning ball. Great off the corner. Maldi with the winner. Love it. But if we was going into the Classic overall, you're looking at 623,000 for this card. Now, where would that sort of card price be on the market? That's the hard kind of pinpoint for it, because it's the market at the minute. She could either be 300k or she could be 5.2 mil. If we was looking at kind of your centre mids, basing it off that sort of variation, I would put her, because I think she's very good. I don't know if I'd put her on Matthias level. I think she's incredible, but Matthias is a different breed of centre mid. Same as Hullet. To be honest, the 89 Hullet's just more imposing kind of height more than anything. Zidane, Toni Kroos, Rice, like, she's got to be in between. I would say about 1. It's got to be about, it depends, because De Jong's pretty good as well. He's got very good stats throughout, but I think she's got to be in between. I would say anywhere, like, you could argue the starting price being 1 to 1.5 mil to arguably like 2.5 mil. Like, you're looking at Declan Rice at 2.1. I think she's better than Rice in a centre mid role. In a CDM, maybe not as much in terms of what Rice can offer. Like I said, that's where the Playstyle Pluses will come into play, so the argument's going to be a little bit void there. When it comes to the overall in-games, it's crazy. 2,597. And I think that's just what gets everybody. 91, 90, 93, 95, 92, and 89. It is a shame that they didn't upgrade that one more. I would just be so... I just want to get that up, to be honest. I think if you just went for the anchor and you've got everything at 90 at least, that for me is more than happy. But the problem is you've got the 99 strength. And that is the kind of extra bit when you've got somebody with a lean build, 5'10", which isn't the smallest, which is nice. I think you could have got someone like Rolfo who could have been 5'6", and that would have just made her that little bit weaker. At 5'10", she could still definitely perform a lot. And the 99 strength is going to have a decent value to it. But when we look at the compare now, if we go to someone like a Matthias, that's where it's just interesting to see the in-games, because obviously pace-wise, they're the same. Same shooting, she's got two better passing, she's got a lot better dribbling, which is I think where she really kind of nails up. Matthias beats her on the defense and then loses on the physicality. 4-star, 5-star compared to the 4-4. You've obviously got dead ball and power shot, which to be honest with this Matthias, not the greatest play styles for him either. I think he could have had better. But when you look at the in-games, you've got 2,584 versus 2,597. Where Matthias kind of wins, acceleration. You look then at kind of shot power, long shot, volleys, penalties. It's fair enough. You then further it down a little bit. Long passes considerably better. Free kicks with the dead ball plus. Obviously, not too fussed about that one. Composure, only by 3. You've then got a little bit more on the defending from intercept, stand and slide. And then finally, you've got the stamina side of stuff, which is not that much. And then aggression. Aggression is one thing that she just doesn't have. Apparently, she is not that aggressive in game. But in terms of this card, I just think it was brilliant. A great SBC, was definitely worth the risk at the minimum. Like I said, even if she got literally a +1 or 2, I think everybody could have still been happy with her. Whereas I think a lot of the fantasy cards, especially the SBCs, they needed to be at least a double, triple upgrade to make them at least relevant. With her, I think 1 or 2 was more than suffice. Getting the whole 4 is just being greedy. Incredible card. 10 out of 10 SBC, would have recommended to everybody, and she has now got a dynamic, even better.